Hi, I'm Jenny from the Mid North Coast Sleep Clinic. You will have received a green bag either in the post or collected it from our clinic. In the green bag is all the equipment to set up for your home sleep study. I am now going to go through all the contents of the bag and I'm going to demonstrate how to attach the equipment and the necessary leads. As you open the bag, you will find that there are two instruction sheets. It is recommended that you read through these sheets twice before you actually start to put the equipment on. It is written word for word and step by step. Each step is numbered in sequence of how to actually attach it all. There also will be a questionnaire for in the morning when you finish the study, and also a checklist where you've actually put everything on. And there will also be a time so you'll know when the machine is going to switch on and when the machine is going to switch off. As we've already explained to you, the machine has been set at the time you told us that you go to sleep and the time that you wake up. If you want to go to sleep a little bit before that time or a little bit after, that's no problem. It will just automatically switch on at the specified time. In the kit you will have 8 electrode small dots, so I always suggest it's a good idea to lay everything out before you start. You'll have a little packet here of what we call Alco wipes, and that is to clean the skin. By doing that we get a much better contact and we get a better reading of the signals. There will always be in the pocket at the back here 2 tapes, one thick one and one thin one. There will be 2 ribbons which we're going to use to help attach some of the equipment. And if you do need extra electrodes, little ones, they are always some extra packaging in the bag. And there is one of our cards which has our contact details on. If you run into any trouble, you can always call us. When you unpack the bag, as you can see, there's quite a few leads. Find a hook or the side of a cupboard where you can actually hang it up. So it's a good idea to hang it up, as I said. So if you've got a hook, then the actual leads are much easier to attach. This here is the nasal cannula. You can actually take it out of the bag. We've already attached it for you. So this is single use, fully sterilised nasal cannula. So if you just hang that down like so. Now, this here is the black Leinard that we talk about. So if you just loosen it to that, pop it over your head and just sit it in the middle of your chest like so, just at about just chest level, and then you just tighten it here at the back. If it does feel a little bit tight around your neck, you can actually just get a little cloth or wear a t-shirt or something comfortable and a collar on, and it won't cut into your neck so much. So as you can see, it does not go against your bare skin. It has to go over clothing, otherwise you will find it is far too uncomfortable. It is also better to have something with sleeves in, because once I put these bands on, I'll show you how it actually can cut under and become quite uncomfortable. Number 1 on your instruction sheet, it will talk about the blue respiratory bands. Now the first one you put on goes up here on your chest. It is adjustable, so that's where you can adjust it to make it smaller or larger. So bring it around under your arms and it just clips in here like so. Now in the instructions it talks about 2 white leads. One, as you can see, is already plugged in, and the second one, you can see this gold cable here, you just plug it into there like so. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is the abdominal one, and this actually goes around your waist. As you can see, it actually faces upwards like that. Easier if you just lean forward a little bit, especially if you don't have anyone to help you, like so. Bring it around your waist, just as I said, at belly button height, and it just clicks in to there. Sit it there, make sure it's not over tight but just firm. Like the top one, one will already be left plugged in, and then we plug in the second one. Okay, we took 4 lines to tell you how to do that. Okay, so this is the heart leads to pick up the signal of what your heart is actually doing. We need to have this reading because if you do have sleep apnea, your actual heart beat can be affected. As you look in the diagram, it'll tell you to go to diagram 1 and this will show you like so. Red one will go to the right side of your chest, yellow one will go to the left. Just velcros it on like so, and if you just grab the yellow ribbons, the velcros isn't that strong, so it's good to actually tie the ribbon on. So this is the Alco wipe. There's about 6 or 7 in the pack, so this one here will just do your chest. So to apply the larger electrodes for your heart, as it says in the diagram, from your collarbone, if you have smaller fingers, it's about 4 finger lengths, which is about 4 centimetres. People with larger fingers, probably just 3. We wipe the skin well with the Alco wipe. Unstick this, then you will have measured your 4 fingers down from your collarbone, and it will just stick just about where that is. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit to the left or the right, just sort of in that same area is fine. Then we'll do the same with the yellow one, which goes to the left hand side. 1, 2, 3, 4, about there. Wipe the skin well. Undo the little dot and just attach it there where you would. Now it's a good idea to use the thicker tape to tape these on, because as you may move quite a bit in your sleep, you don't have to worry about it. So I usually use about this much. Just undo it and just reinforce it over each little one. There. Again, it's good if you've got someone to help you do this. Now, if you go to diagram 2, you'll be able to see where we're going to attach the head electrodes. These actually give us a reading of little brain waves while you're asleep, and that actually helps us work out what stage of sleep you're in. Stage 1, 2, 3, or REM sleep. And also how often you actually are waking and arousing. Now there's some velcros on the back here, and that's the velcros there. So if you kind of just bend that, just fit under there nicely, and just attach it like that to the velcros. These top ones, to get them out of the way, just flip them to the back. Each of these little leads have got a name. So the 2 green ones are called R1 and R2. The 2 red ones are called N1 and N3, and the 2 yellow ones are called N2 and N4. Okay, so that's sitting nicely like that. We are going to tie it with the yellow ribbon as well. If you tie it on again, so then you don't have to worry about it coming off when you sleep. White one is called ground, black one is the electrode just there. Now I always suggest again to follow the instructions exactly and start here with R1, because each colour just mirrors the other side. So when you start with R1, you get your little dots and you just clip one on like that. Again, with the Alco wipe, you need to wipe where each one goes. So if you look at the diagram, it's probably a good idea to actually wipe each one first. So then it'll be dry by the time you put the electrode on. You're going to have R1, R2, N1, N3, then you're going to have N2 and then N4. So make sure you wipe all those dots first, and then you're going to have the ground up here on the right side, just here, and you just rub it there. Okay, so once you've rubbed it all, it should be dry by the time you get to put the electrodes on. So start with R1, undo this, it's quite sticky. Now make sure you bring them all around the back of your head. Don't bring them in front like that, because by the time you finish you'll have 8 leads putting in front of your eyes and you won't be able to see. This one here, and stick it just here, just on that bone, sort of near the hairline, but stick it there. Now we're going to get R2. Goes in exactly the same position on the other side, so just clip that on like so, just spin them around to get them in the right direction. If you have longer hair, to use a hair clip if you have one. And again, just feel where that mastoid bone is, just sort of near the ear. Refer to the diagram, you can see it as well. See how I'm just spinning it around, so to make sure that it stays at the back like so. The next one we're going to do is the red one. This is N1. Put your electrode on. As we told you in the instructions, to make sure you have no face cream on. Your face is very dry because it'll affect how they stick. So N1 is just up here on the hairline, just like so. Bring it back, and then N3. Again, as I said, don't bring it around in front of your face. Bring it up, around, and just move that so it faces upwards like that. And it just sticks here, just in exactly the same position, but just on the other side of your head. Next one we have is N2. Now N2 and N4, we're picking up what we call rapid eye movement sleep. So we're picking up the movement of your eyes. So they're a little bit different in that, as it says in the diagram, N2 will go a centimetre out and a centimetre up, just sort of on the outer end of your eyebrow, and just a centimetre out, centimetre up, pretty much on your temple. Again, bring that back. N4, take it like so. Again, bring it around. Now instead of going in the same spot, it actually goes a centimetre out and a centimetre down. Centimetre out and a centimetre down, just on that cheekbone area. Now, nearly there. Ground one. Because we've got electrical signals coming from your heart and your brain, we need to earth or ground it. Electricians do when they're working. Up that way. And just here in the middle of your forehead. Bring that up. Then the chin one is the black one. On the right side, and you'll feel a muscle bone there, just under that bone, just sticks like there. If you have a beard, you can actually stick it up here on your chin. You feel that muscle there? Or you might be able to just shave a spot there. Now, once you have them all on, we use the thinner tape to reinforce them to make sure that they're not going to come off. So I'm going to stick each one, to give you an example of one. So if you just put about this much over each one, tape them all on, and once you've got them all on, gather them all together, about that much tape, bunch them here. And if you want to get the right out of the way, you can put a bit more tape at the back here as well. I tend to use the thicker tape, this much. So then I just tape it here onto the cloth. I can tape them further back there as well. So as you can see, they sit quite neatly and there's nothing coming in front of my face. Okay, we're now on the home run. So this, as they talk about, is the nasal cannula. Now this signal is very important. If we lose this signal, the study is deemed failed and the whole thing will need to be repeated again. So we stress very strongly that this does not come out of your nose during the study. As you can see, it's got a bend in it. So I usually hold it about that far apart. Pop it in your nose, around your ears, like so. And then if you just grab this part here, as you can see, it just does up like an umbrella. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but once you've had it on for a little while, you actually get used to it. So it's got to sit right in your nose, not sitting outside, but right in like so. And as I stress, it's such an important signal, so you don't pull it out in your sleep. You get about this much. Okay, and you take both sides lengthways. And another piece. Now the last signal to attach is what we call the oximetry. As you can see, there is a picture of a fingernail on that. The fingernail has to face upwards, going this way. It doesn't matter which finger you use. Tend to find that a little bit less on the ring finger, but this has to be taped, so it doesn't matter which hand. If you're right-handed, put it on your left hand and vice versa. If you have quite fat fingers, you may even need to go to the smaller one because it's important that it sits on your finger firmly. Again, this needs to be taped, so I tend to tape it with the thinner one. Again, if you've got someone to help you, tape it on would be much better. Tape it there a couple of times. Tape it up here on your arm, skin. If you wanted to, you could actually thread it through your pyjamas if you feel that it's too long, but I tend to just pop it under here. So then it gives you a bit more movement if you're rolling around in your sleep. If you see an orange light flashing on top of the device, check that the following leads are positioned and connected properly. The nasal cannula, the finger sensor, the blue bands around the waist and chest, and check that all plugs on the side of the device are pushed in completely. If all these items appear to be in the correct position and you are not able to resolve the problem with the device, then please phone our mobile. Now, once you have all the equipment on, how are you going to know that the device switches on? Say, for example, you told us that you go to bed at 10 p.m. At 10 p.m., not a minute before or not a minute after, this will switch on. Now, the way you know it's going to switch on is there'll be a red light that will come on at the time you told us that you go to sleep. That red light lets you know that the device has switched itself on and is starting to record. If for some reason it gets to a few minutes after the time you told us, I'm using 10 p.m. as an example, if it gets to 10:05 and that light is not on, we ask you to call us on our mobile phone number that we've given you, and what we will tell you to do is this open, it's got a little latchet that you just push, fold the machine down, and there won't be any picture of a man there at all recording. It'll be just a dead screen. So as you can see, it's actually the red light is on, and as you can see, the little man is here recording. If for some reason there's no red light on at all, then we will ask you to press this button here and it will activate the machine to switch on manually. You will then close the little box and you will see the red light is running and you now go to sleep. So that is the end of how you put on your sleep equipment. Good night, sleep well. Now, to remove the equipment in the morning from the nasal cannula, I always find it best to start and come off your finger. Okay, so we ask you to actually chop this for hygiene's sake. We ask you to get a pair of scissors and chop this off about here. Okay, do not undo or touch the top of the device. Now, I tend to start from the little dots here. And if you don't mind just unclipping them for us, because they have a gel on them that makes quite a mess in the bag, and just to take them all off. Bring this around and take all this off your skin. Take off any tapes, so if you don't mind removing these little sticky dots. Undo the two ribbons. Undo the velcros. Now when you get to respiratory bands, if you can remember to take off the outside one and then just flick it and it will come undone. And then on the bottom band, you can remember to take off the inside one, clip it, and then undo this black lanyard here. Lift the device over your head, shake it out a little bit like this, and we'll return it to the bag. So as you can see where you took the device out the night before, there's a cradle that it sits in. It just fits in there like so, and just put it back in some sort of fashion. Shake these out a little bit so it's a bit easier to put into the bag. You don't have to take too long putting it back in, as long as it just sits there in sort of fashion. And don't forget to have filled out your morning questionnaire so we get an idea of how you slept with the device on. Turning the instructions to the bag, the Alco wipes. Don't forget to return the two tapes. Pop in the bag like so. Fold the bag up. We ask you to make sure the device is returned no later than 10 a.m. to where you collected it from or where you have been instructed to return it, as it will either be couriered back to us or you will be dropping it into the clinic. So now you've completed the study, your results will be sent to your GP within a week of having the study, and we will also contact you with the results either by phone, by messenger or by email.